All right, so what if everything we think we know about how forces travel across the universe is just plain wrong? Today, we're diving into a really mind bending idea from a new framework called Supersymmetric Geometric Quantum Mechanics, or SGQM for short. It suggests that forces don't travel at all. And if it's right, it could completely rewrite our understanding of reality itself. We all have this pretty intuitive picture of how the universe works, right? You drop a stone in a pond and ripples spread out. A star explodes and its light has to travel for millions of years just to reach us. We see cause and effect as a message, a signal, some kind of force that has to physically move through space to get from point A to point B. It just makes sense. And this is the question that just throws a wrench in everything. What if forces aren't signals being sent across the void? What if that force we measure is something else entirely? Something instantaneous, something geometric that's happening everywhere, all at once. Okay, to wrap our heads around this, we have to introduce a whole new kind of cosmic fabric that this model proposes. It's called the Aetheron. And you should think of it not as some empty stage where the drama of the universe plays out, but as the active, underlying structure that everything, space, time, all of it, actually emerges from. So, what in the world is the Aetheron? Well, imagine for a second that you're a two-dimensional being living on a flat sheet of paper. If a 3D sphere were to pass through your world, you wouldn't see a sphere. You'd just see a circle appear out of nowhere, grow, and then shrink back to nothing. SGQM suggests something just like that our entire universe is really just a projection, kind of a shadow of a much richer, more complex 12-dimensional reality. And that reality is the Aetheron. Let's break that down a bit. This 12-dimensional reality, which physicists call a manifold, or M12 for short, is basically made of two connected parts. The first part, M4, well, that's our home turf. That's the universe we know, our familiar 4 dimensions of space and time. But the real engine room, according to this theory, is in the second part, F8. This is a hidden, 8-dimensional space, and it's the way this space twists and turns, its geometry, that actually creates everything we see and experience in our part of the universe. Now, here's where it gets really cool. This entire cosmic structure isn't just chaotic and random. It's all governed by a single, unbelievably elegant geometric rule. It's a conservation law that ties the whole shebang together. And this is it, the Aetheron theorem. And yeah, it should probably look a little familiar. It's built exactly like the Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. And that is completely intentional. It describes this fundamental, unchanging relationship deep inside the Aetheron, a conserved value they call alpha. This illustration here makes it so clear. In this model, mass and energy are orthogonal, which is really just a fancy way of saying they're at right angles to each other, like the two sides of a right triangle. They're just different geometric perspectives on the exact same thing. So if one side of that triangle changes, the other side must change with it, and it must change instantly to keep the hypotenuse, that constant alpha value, exactly the same. The geometry of the whole system has to stay in perfect balance. So this is the crucial shift in perspective. Einstein gave us E equals mc squared, telling us that mass and energy are equivalent. SEGQM takes that idea one step further. It says they're two perpendicular aspects of the same underlying geometry. This isn't just about tweaking an equation, it's a completely different way of looking at the relationship between matter and force. Okay, so if reality is all just about keeping this cosmic geometry in balance, what does that mean for the forces we feel every day, like gravity? Well, this is where we get to the core revelation of the whole thing, the non-propagation hypothesis. And this is the truly mind-blowing part. A force isn't a particle or a wave that travels from point A to point B. It's the instantaneous, coordinated adjustment of the entire geometric fabric of the Aetheron. It's not a signal being sent, it's the whole system rebalancing itself, everywhere, at once. So how could that possibly work? Let's just walk through it. First, something happens, let's say a star collapses. According to the theory, that event changes the geometry in that hidden 8-dimensional space. Step 2. This change triggers what are called mixed generators. The best way to think of them is as the universal rule keepers, these gears that connect the hidden reality to our own. Step 3. These rule keepers instantly force our space-time to adjust its own shape to keep the entire 12-dimensional system in balance. And this is the key. It's an algebraic rule, not a physical signal, so it doesn't break the speed of light. And finally, step 4, that geometric adjustment, that instantaneous reshaping of our spacetime, that is the force we measure as gravity. This quote from the source material just sums it up perfectly. The universe isn't sending little messages to itself. It's maintaining a state of perfect geometric coherence. And what we call force is simply our local experience of that global synchronized harmony. Now, I know this all sounds incredibly abstract, almost like we're talking about philosophy. But here's where it gets real. SGQM is a physical theory, and that means it makes concrete predictions that we can actually test. We can look for evidence of this geometric reality out there in the universe. So where would we even look for proof? Well, the theory suggests we should find it hidden in the data from our most sensitive instruments, things like the gravitational wave observatories LIGO and Virgo. We'd be on the hunt for subtle little signals that Einstein's theory of general relativity just can't explain. Things like faint echoes in the data after two black holes merge, or maybe some unexpected twists in a wave's polarization. These would be the telltale signs of the geometry resynchronizing itself. So basically, what might look like random noise or just an error in our data right now could actually be the first whispers of this deeper geometric truth. These aren't flaws, they're potential discoveries, just waiting for us to understand them in this new way. And all of this leaves us with a final, really profound question. For a century now, we've pictured the universe as a story told by messengers, photons and gravitons, traveling across a vast, empty stage. But this new model is asking us to consider a radically different possibility. What if there are no messengers, and there is no stage? What if there's only the performance itself, the instantaneous, coherent, and beautiful harmony of a single unified geometry?